Good evening, everybody. Let me turn this down a little bit more. You already know who it is. Target individual CJBK. Right now, this is technically like my Friday when it comes to work because I'm usually off Thursday and Friday, and then I'll go back to work on Saturday, but be off on Sunday. My job hasn't, updated my schedule yet. I told them to start scheduling me Monday through Thursday. Notice how it started buffering as soon as I started recording this video. Now, let me just tell you everything that's been happening, right? So, at first, I started watching this or listening to this on the TV, right? And I started to feel like, okay, first and foremost, um, I have been becoming increasingly more sensitive to electromagnetic um, energy presences or whatever, or even the directed energy. It's like my nervous system or my energy, my like spiritual, natural electromagnetic energy has become more sensitive to synthetic energy or this man-made weaponized energy, that's all around us, and I had it on the TV, and then next thing you know, I start to feel this heavy, almost kind of like let me see, it's so dark, it's dark in here, but I'm also trying to wind down, so I don't necessarily want to turn the light on, but it was like this, like almost as if like there was like a just this barrage or of energy that was just as wide span as my TV, and it was just like smothering me. It was smothering me. I thought it was mostly coming from the ceiling. So I had got up from the bed and I started using my hand to try to track where the energy is coming from. Because people have like transmitters or some other types of devices that they can basically just place down on the floor. Like especially if you're in an apartment building, they'll just basically place it down on the floor wherever you're at. They'll just place it down above your head, and then they could just direct the energy downward. And then if if they're next door to you, if they're like outside your home, they just go to wherever you're positioned at in your home and place a device next to the wall where you're at, and then they'll basically focus the energy that way. Um, and and as you can see here at the bottom, I am connected, so there shouldn't be any problems with this. Now, if I refresh, as you can see, it shows that I'm connected, and it's not even refreshing. Now, you can see I'm up here doing some research. I'm at the DARPA website. I was looking into some things, trying to see if I could find, okay, who is funding these people and who is protecting them? Because obviously, there's no way weapons like this just get to the street. No way. Absolutely no way. So they are being helped by some nefarious groups of the government. So you can see right here, server not found, server not found, right? But yet I am connected to my Wi-Fi service. Now watch this. You see I turned it off, right? Give it a few seconds, right? Do 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 do. This is what you call an active denial of service. This is or DDoS, denial of service attack, something like that. I forgot, but Yeah, then if I turn it on, okay, boom. Now you see at the bottom, it's resetting. It's saying no internet. Now, mind you, okay, there it goes. Refresh. Now it's asking if I'm a robot. IP address. Wait a minute. Our system has detected unusual traffic from your computer network. I'm glad I got this on camera. I'm glad I got this on camera. Even the best part, is that supposed to be my IP address? Because it sure ain't my IP address. Or is it YouTube's IP address? I don't know. But I'm glad I got this on camera. So, I love the fact that I got this on camera. So, I'm gonna go ahead and select I am not a robot. I should have actually, like, what I should have did was read that IP address out loud. Okay, refresh. Boom, back to the darker side. Now you seen that just clearly, like as right as I'm recording. They have no type of, that's the arrogancy of it all, you know. They know I'm gonna post this online, but you know what? I guess what they also figure is that, oh, it's not gonna matter. You know, you don't realize we're a secret society. Nobody can mess with a secret society. You know, oh, we got access to this, and you know, we can make sure you go to prison, or we could basically kill you in your sleep. Oh, there's a lot of people watching you, Chris. The whole city is watching you. New York City don't trust you. Da 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 da. You know, for the most part, I could care less what anybody thinks. I know from research, I know from, you know, evidence, whether technological, physical evidence that I have gathered, and even just research evidence to prove that all of this stuff is happening. And you know what? They could try to see if they can stop people from finding out as hard as they want to. But the way God works, you can't stop what God wants to be put in the light. You can't stop God from shining his light on what you're doing. You can't stop it. You could try to prolong it if you want to, but it's only going to make it even worse for you. You know, and then, but you know what the best part is? Even in the Bible, it talks about no matter what, when you're wrestling with the principalities of the things that are, you know, controlling um, much of the resources or the evils of the world, you know, just always remember when you're righteous and you're trying to wrestle against the principalities or you know, destroy all those who, you know, work alongside with them, just always remember they're going to push back. You know, they're not going to give up their power too easily at all. Matter of fact, speaking of principalities, I don't know if any of you have my Instagram account. My Instagram account is Chief. Is it? I think it's Chief Man 35. Yeah, I think it's Chief Man 35. Chief CHIEFMAN 35. I was on Facebook one day, and you know, most of the time I like to click on the news tab to see what kind of news Facebook is allowing to be, you know, published. And funny thing is, there was one article above talking about how NASA's, you know, newest moon rocket named Artemis 1 was experiencing some problems. So they had to change the launch date and everything, blah blah blah. It's supposed to be one of the, one of the, or at least supposed to be like the fastest, most advanced, rocket to date, you know, that's scheduled to go to the moon. And then I think they said it's supposed to be kind of like what is it? It's supposed to be, long story short, I said long story short. It's supposed to be some type of like stop point for any type of travel to Mars. So it's like you would go to the moon, and like you would go from the Earth first, and you would go to the moon. Then I guess you get some other supplies, or you would transfer to another ship or something like that, and then you would go from the moon to the Mars. And, I don't know. I guess that's how they would do it. But anyway, just under that article, there's another article that was talking about it said something along the lines of like the something the spirit of Artemis is destroying Germany or Greece. I forgot what it was, something like that. So I click on the article, and then the first like three paragraphs, so the first like three sections of the article, it mentions how Artemis is actually the name of a demon. And I was like, wait, what? So I'm thinking to myself, so you telling me, and I continue to read, on about this Artemis, and it was basically kind of like a pagan, it was like a demon that was being worshipped, and this someone was creating these idols that basically worship Artemis. And I'm thinking to myself, so you telling me NASA done built a rocket named after a demon? I said, if this is not, and I just got chills once I said that too. It just went surging all throughout my body just now. My arm has serious goosebumps right now. So I'm like, you telling me NASA built a spaceship named after a demon? And then you think about what they're doing with this technology these days. It's like techno-paganism is real. Like, this is very real stuff. Like, we used, like, everybody know about witches of old, and the witches who perform all types of like seances, and they get like all these different ingredients and potions. They do this, and they go through this book and do that. But people don't realize technology in itself is witchcraft. I guess based on the intention behind your use of it, but it's literally witchcraft. Like what they're doing is witchcraft of new. Well, I guess new for humanity, but yeah, because when you think about what they're doing, think about it like this: they're using computers and artificial intelligence, synthetic energy, frequencies to manipulate not just your mind, but also your mood, which is also connected to your spiritual energy. Now, I don't know what human being actually needs to actually okay, I'll say it like this: what normal, healthy human being actually has the urge want to control a person's mood and how they think and what they do? No normal, healthy human being, psychologically and physically, ever wants to have that much control over a person. anyone who has that in them, that is not a human anymore. Or at least they're the human part of them is like somewhere buried deep down inside. But that is not a human no more. They are corrupted. Their soul is basically in like a prison. Like they say the spiritual body is basically trapped in the human body until the flesh dies, and then the spiritual body is released. But then if you allow yourself to be consumed by the evils of the world, and remember, like in my last video, it says, do not allow evil to overcome you, but overcome evil with good. If you haven't been doing much good in your life to overcome the evil that's already going to be trying to press its way into you, why? Because the principalities of darkness in this world wants to destroy as much good as they can. Why? Because God wants every human being to basically be a resemblance of of God's love and light. Everything that's good about God wants to see us resemble that. But if you don't do everything in your power and also lean on the presence and the energy that God can provide you with to overcome that evil, then you will become the evil, or the evil will become you. So then what then eventually happens now is people will become stuck in their ways of doing, some of them doing at progressively more and more dark, intentional things. It's almost kind of like how people get into stealing. You start off with something small, then you get away with it. Then next thing you know, you eventually start to do a little bit more after that. Then it grows and grows. Next thing you know, you go from stealing department store things to the point where now you're like basically stealing from, I don't know, a corporation or whatever. Most corporations are stealing from people anyway, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But or like it starts so small where like first you're picking on somebody, next you're beating up somebody, then you eventually advance yourself to now you're like beating somebody up to a bloody pulp because you just felt like it. Now you're actually killing people because you just felt like it. And now at this point, as you begin to advance yourself into, doing things that do not please God, you basically start to, you lose all conviction. You then begin to no longer fear God. Now notice how it stopped again, right? You see, look. I'm like, hey, all I'm saying is you see what I'm doing, right? You see how I'm speaking, right? And then it was playing just fine, then all of a sudden it stopped. That's how you know when you are speaking the truth, when God is guiding your words and you are speaking the truth will hit everything that is dark and not of God. It will hit them deep in their heart. It'll hit them deep in the core of their very being, and it will make them want to act out in the most worst ways that they can. Why? Because misery hates to be, dismantled. Hatred hates when someone calls it out, but hey, at the end of the day, I got to keep doing what God is calling for me to do. So, they going to keep doing what they want to do, whatever. Best part about it is, I know I'm blessed I know God is, is looking out for me. I know God has guardian angels looking out for me. Whatever you believe in, as long as love is at the forefront of whatever the religion is, if love, like genuine love, is at the forefront of it, that's all that matters. Um, me personally, I believe God had, basically sent many different messengers in this world, because like we all should know, God uses people to help guide people into spiritual ascension. So whether that messenger's name was Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, or whatever, as long as love is at the forefront, that's all that truly matters. um and then you go ahead, see, that's how you know. That's how you know. Go ahead and start that back over, because the Luciferians, they they listen from all around, whether they're upstairs, downstairs, next door, whatever. Um, and they're live streaming all of this, so they have an audience. They basically, they're you know I don't know how many people are watching, but I know at some point I believe, and I know as long as I keep asking God to help and guide me through it, I'm going to find this server and I'm going to expose it. I'm going to put it out there, because everything that is done in the dark must be brought to light. Everything that they're doing right now has been done in the past. And what had happened to all of those people in the past, most of those people, if not all, were either destroyed and wiped from the face of this earth, and then they possibly had some descendants that, were born, and then, their descendants, tried everything in their power to try to see if they could maintain whatever control that was left behind. They're all basically gonna get wiped out at some point. This is why, when they say balance must be kept no matter what. And right now, evil and darkness has been winning for quite some time. So, but now it seems like if you look around and you pay attention to the world, it seems like there's an insurmountable, you know, complete over, like it's completely unbalanced. It seems like there's so much more evil in the world than there is good. At least it seems that way. But mostly it's probably because these more powerful countries that are here, they're heterodominant. So I felt my left ear ring much louder than my right. So they're trying to do something. Um, but yeah, this is why I do these videos and why I keep recording, because no matter what, if anything happens to me, it only proves my point. Anything that happens to me, it only proves my point anyway. Whether, because I don't do anything for me to go to jail or prison. And then, like, I literally don't. Most of the time, I'm too tired to want to do anything that could put me in jail or prison. So they would have to actually falsify something or do something electronically, like probably put something on my phone or put something on my laptop, or they would have to like somehow sneak some type of like substance on my person. They would have to set me up just so that I can end up in jail or prison. Or, I noticed, that recently that they created some new laws that basically would, threaten or possibly give a person jail time for being a truther, or a whistleblower. And I mean, this is the world we live in, or at least this is the country. Well, no, I mean, doesn't really matter because China's just as bad. Russia's, you know, Russia. I don't really know much about Russia, but I think as far as anybody who tries to speak up against the Russian government or whatever, I think they pretty much face the same type of persecution as well. But like United States, China, nah, them two, they don't play. You say anything about the government, I mean, you say anything about the government, they'll treat your ass just like what North Korea. Yeah, so they'll treat your ass just like North Korea. They'll off your kufi, throw you under the jail, whatever they can do. That's what they gonna do. So what they're probably planning with me is, they're probably gonna find some way to put, if they don't kill me outside, while I'm quote unquote free, they'll try to find some way to put me in prison or put me in jail, and then find some way to kill me while I'm in jail or prison, and then make it seem like it was a suicide. When I haven't been suicidal since like that this one time in college, and I was like 18 or 19 years old. That was the last time I ever truly had a full suicidal thought in my mind, and that was definitely the last time. And then like, and this is just me speaking freely and honestly. Why? Because I don't have anything to hide. You know, the most human thing, the most humanly thing you can do to connect to another person is show them that you are full of vulnerabilities, but you are not afraid to live freely with your vulnerabilities. And everybody who's a part of this whole secret society thing, this whole gang stalking thing, they're all, no, I'm not gonna say that they're cowards, but I'm gonna say this: fear has been the ruling planet over their entire life. That's why they're actually going along with it, be out of fear, greed, power. Because I mean, think about it like this: who really wants someone telling them what to do with their life? And then if someone tells you, "Oh, you're gonna do this or else," that's how the fear begins. Once that or else, or if you don't do it, that's how they get you with the fear. So I'm glad I lean on God, because God tells us not to fear no man or woman on this earth, and don't fear anyone who threatens your life, because for one, the future is not promised, or the future is not finite for no one. So a person can threaten your life, but they still have to actually successfully kill you. They still have to actually go through the process to successfully kill you. You know, just because someone gets a gun, and they come out and they shoot you, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna die if you get shot. You can survive the shot. You can survive the shot. I mean, this one Ti, she lives out in North Carolina. And she's alive. Strong, beautiful woman. Her name is Lauren Birch. She made the news and everything. She was just driving through her neighborhood, and I just got some more chills going through me. So I guess I'm about to tell you about her stream. She's a very vigilant and like very, you know, look, they stopped it again. That's how you know they mad. Um, um, she's a very, very strong, beautiful woman. Um, she was driving through her neighborhood one day, and then she said, out of nowhere, people just started shooting at my car. And she said she got shot 5 times. And I was like, damn. And you know what? She's. I mean, that was probably like last year or something like that. But now she's good. She's traveling. She's still doing her rallies, what does she call it? Her cry out rallies against covert harassment and gang stalking and stuff like that. I forgot how she called it, but it's like she hosts her own rallies, and she tries to connect with other TIs in different parts of the country. Um, but yeah, so and then also there's times when like someone would probably like try to do this. I mean, there's so many different things that people do to try to prove how much of a savage they are, how much of a monster they are. And I mean, quite honestly, man, look, I'm tired. I have grew up in this environment for so long. I've grew up where, you know, if you don't look tough, then somebody's basically gonna press you because they think you soft. So if you're not running with a group, then more than likely you alone, you by yourself. It's like, I don't know. It's like, and I never really liked the idea that people be like, oh, once I get some money, I'm moving out the hood. And it's like, I never really liked that idea because it kind of, it kind of, it's like it basically condones and it allows what's happening in the hood to just continue. Even though you staying there won't necessarily change anything, but your presence alone actually gives some people who are living there, it gives them perspective that you can actually live somewhere and still have a good heart and still be a good person and still, not necessarily allow your environment to basically control and be you. You, and y'all heard me say this in my videos many times, you are only in control of you. You can't control anything outside of you. But what you could do is influence. So like, I don't necessarily, I know, like, I don't associate, like, I don't talk to, like, I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of associates, and I converse with a lot of people, and I'll be cordial, I'll be neighborly, I say hello, good morning, whatever, you know, that before gang stalking and after gang stalking. Even if I know you helping with the gang stalking, I'm still going to have enough respect and love towards you because that's just what God wants me to do. God wants you, even when you see your enemy, you still look at him in his face and you say good morning. You still, even if your enemy is looking down and out, and they looking like they starving, like they ain't got no food, or whatever the case may be, I'll still give them something. Why? Because I'm blessed anyway. And when somebody is down and out, I'm not going to take the opportunity to be like, ha ha, you down and out. Nah, because next thing you know, that's gonna mess with my peace. So why would I wanna lower myself to a frequency that's basically gonna try to kick someone while they're down? Nah. When someone is down and they've done you wrong or whatever, if they look like they're hurting and they look like they're actually possibly learning from what they've been doing or whatever, that's the moment that you step in there and you actually try to see if you can speak some influence into them. You're not looking to change nobody. You can't change nobody. Change only comes from the person themselves. You can't change nobody. The most you could do is influence a person. Now I'm listening to them have all their conversations and whatnot in the background and everything. Whether it's the ones upstairs or it's the V2K, I hear them both simultaneously, and they're dropping stuff too. So that's how you know they listen. Um, But here's the thing, like, if you are a shining light in this world, and God made you to be a shining light in this world, don't fear nothing, because you are not going anywhere until God sees that it's time for you to go. When you have made a good enough mark in this world, and your presence and your influence was good enough to be a benefit to people in this world, that's usually when God is like, okay, now you can go. You've done exactly all that I needed you to do. So right now, I have to be the light I have to be a light of influence. I have to be someone that, I have to be someone that, even when everything is stacked against me, even when everybody is trying to destroy me, even when every single negative energy vampire, like energy vampire, when everything is trying to come at me, I still have to be the one above it all. Why? Because no matter what, I know that my spiritual life is already blessed. My physical life is already blessed. My body is only going through pain, and pain is really only related to this physical world. My spirit is strong. My spirit is constantly ascending. So I'm not even worried about what they're doing, what they're plotting. I'm not even worried about them. You know, and it's sad to say that, like, if they can't break me down, they'll go after my mother. But she is spiritually strong too. She's been through a lot far worse than what most of these people been through. Because most of these people had dealt with a lot of animosity and anger from people that look like them. My mother, she's from South Carolina. She done grew up through Jim Crow and all that, so she done experienced hatred and anger from people that don't look like her and people that look like her. And she still has enough love in her heart to not actually walk around these streets, or walk around wherever she's at, with this animosity towards people. She grew up with a set of values, and a moral code that, just like, you don't see it too often. My mom, she's stronger than me. She actually will stand up and tell someone to, like, she'll if she see you doing something wrong, she ain't gonna care what you got on. She gonna tell you to stop. And me, I just be like, look, I'm just trying to protect my peace. I'm not really trying to be nobody's Superman or whatever. But if something is completely just like, it's just like blatantly just like outright like wrong, I'm just like, all right, I gotta say something. You know. Matter of fact, like earlier today, even though I didn't really get involved because there was a whole lot of people in there, so I felt like the situation was, pretty much handled on its own. But I was getting a sandwich from this corner store, in my neighborhood. And this store, like, I get the feeling that even the store owners, they know about the secret society stuff, and they know about the gang stuff, but they still try to be, somewhat, you know, cordial about, when they see me walking, because they know me since I was like a kid, and they know me since I was like 14 years old or so. So, but I'm in the store, and I'm waiting for my sandwich to be made, and like a group like this, what was it, like two, like three, like two or three girls had walked in, and they looked like they just got off from like work or something like that. And they're probably like 15, 16 years old, whatever the case. And they waiting to place their order for some food or whatever. And at some point, a bunch of other people walked into the store, and this older guy had to probably be about between the ages of like 45 and 53 or something like that. He comes in, and I wasn't even really paying attention. I'm just literally like on my phone, just like, waiting for my sandwich to be made. And all of a sudden, I just hear the young girl say something along the lines like, um, that, you know, um, I don't know, something about she said, can you just back up? You know, I don't know, maybe the guy was just standing too close to her or whatever, because it was another woman or another girl in there or whatever, and then the guy, I think he was just waiting to order himself a sandwich or something too, but he must have been standing too close to her or something. So, um, the other girl was standing to the side, and she was like, all she said was, can you back up? Then next thing you know, he just, oh, now it starts up again. He just broke out, like, and was just like, bitch. And I was like, dang, the first word out of his mouth was bitch. And I was like, that's that energy that I be trying not to be too much around. That's the energy. Like, cause I mean, me personally, there's certain words that I don't like to use, right? And if I use it, I'm basically using it because you are a resemblance. You are resembling the negative connotations to that word. I don't like to use bitch. I don't like to use nigga. I don't like to use um I don't well yeah, I don't never say faggot. Yeah, you know, there's there's certain words I just don't like to use, right? And but when he just came out and he was strong with it, and remind you, the girl's like 15, 16 years old, and he's like, bitch, um, something, something, whatever. And then she just got mad. And then next thing you know, she starts arguing with him. And then she looking like she ready to fight him. And I'm like, Lord, please make sure this don't break out into this store like that. But luckily there was already like 8 people around him, and then like 2 guys, they kind of like got in between them two. And I'm just thinking to myself, you a grown ass man, and you over here arguing with a teenage girl. I'm like, golly, your frequency must be low. Like, I'm like, your frequency must be low. You a grown ass man arguing with a teenage girl, and then you looking like you wanted to actually fight her too. So I'm just like, man, look, hey, protect your peace, man. Protect your peace. And keep your vibrations high, because there are things and people moving in this world right now that are basically trying to, get everyone to, commit hateful acts against themselves that are unnecessary. Um, and like I said, I grew up around this energy. I grew up around this energy. I grew up knowing, some pretty cool people who will, at a drop of a hat, they will entertain that energy. If you come at them a certain way, they could be smiling 1 minute, but you come at them one way, they will flip. They will flip at the drop of a dime, and they will meet your energy in a hot second, like not with no second thought. And I don't know. I always try to be like a better influence for people, but some people, they some people feel like they have to stand their ground. And I'm like, certain things you don't have to fight over. Certain things you don't have to get into that argument over. Certain things you don't have to, try to prove anything. And that's what's wrong with many of the society, or the communities that we have in this this country, or just in the world in general. Whether you're black, white, Latino or Hispanic, however you want to call it, or Middle Eastern, Indian, whatever, Russian, European, doesn't really matter, because every race of people have to deal with the same groups of low vibrational energy people. Keep your vibrations high. Learn to do things that satisfy your soul, not just doing things that just make you happy for a moment, or just like, but you need to find things in this world, even when you're being tormented as a targeted individual. You need to find things in life that will basically give you life. Like me, I keep my expenses low. Like, I'm grateful that I work. I keep my expenses low so then I could be able to do fun things that I consider fun, as like, I like to go out to bars and restaurants and try new foods, or I like to, go to the movies, or I like to go, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I'm very random. Like, I could just decide that, like, I'm gonna go out somewhere. Don't know where I'm gonna go. I might just point at a random spot on a map and just say I'm gonna just go here, and then see what's over here, and then I'm gonna just do something. You know, um, but yeah, yeah, and then they have a frequency that's attached to one of my molars. One of my Well, the molar is kind of like one of those grinder teeth that's on the bottom. It's not a wisdom tooth, but it's like one of your grinder teeth. They have a frequency, and I could literally feel the energy being connected to the nerve. It's either connected to the nerve or the tooth itself. And the as and when I pinch near that tooth, and then I track where the beam is coming from. It's always coming from upward. It's always coming from upward. So it's like wherever it's coming from, um, at some point, I'm gonna find a way to try to figure out how to either expose this energy, or maybe if I could get some type of visual, something to visually display it. But I don't know. But yeah, this turned out to be a long video, as they always do. But I don't know. I just like to let people know that we're all in this together. Keep your vibrations high. Do things that make you feel great. And then also, whenever you get a chance, do something, even if it's the smallest little thing, to make someone else feel just happy to be alive, or happy to be out and about. Um, if you see somebody looking a certain type of, way, like, I don't know, if you see that their vibration look low or something, I don't know, tell them that you like their shirt, or tell them that you like something about them. Make them feel better too, just to take their mind off of whatever they're going through. Just even if it's just for 10 seconds, they'll appreciate that. Because it's so much negativity in this world. And it's so many people who are cultivating this negative energy, and they're living off of this negative energy. These transhumans, they're basically, think about it like this. And this is something else that came to my mind. This transhumanistic society, right? You know how, like, basically the majority of the world is, especially the United States, is trying to move everything into a digital aspect. So already, people have already been augmented that's why a lot of times when your perps or whatever, you see them in the street, you gang stalkers or whatever, and you see them and then they look at you, but it's not like they're looking at you, but it's like they're looking at something on you. That's because some people are already augmented. Like their visual cortex has already been augmented to a point where they can see a spectrum of light that the normal human eye can't see. So they're already seeing things like digital information that most like the normal human being can't see and isn't supposed to see. So they're already augmented. So people are already walking around, living augmented lives already. This is one of the reasons why they're trying to push everything to be on, go into the Oculus or get you a VR headset, da da da. This is why they're trying to push all this shit so hard. Why? Because at some point, and this is what I'm believing now. William Henry, go to williamhenry.net and look for his article called The Great, I think it's called The Great AI Snatch or The Digital Snatch or something like that. And he talks about how he's like a historian, and he's a historian and I forgot, but he's a historian, and he does a great job with combining science, technology, and biblical scripture. Well, science and technology, history, and biblical scriptures, and making sense of everything that is happening now and comparing it to what has happened in the past. And in that article, he does a great job of explaining how everything is gearing up for what is going to be considered the digital snatch, where everyone is having a digital copy of themselves being made to basically be lived out and on like the internet, or rather the cloud server, the metaverse and all that. And then at some point when the elites get ready to do the real master plan, they're going to snatch everyone up from their bodies. They're going to literally snatch people's entire consciousness from their body, and then they're going to be living their lives in like virtual reality or whatever the case may be. And then that's pretty much it. They, I guess I don't know what's going to happen to the bodies, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to the bodies. I don't know if they're just going to be dead or whatever. But once their consciousness gets snatched up from their bodies, all I'm seeing right now is like, if your consciousness is snatched from your body, just leaving the vessel behind. Can you imagine? Because remember, we got all kinds of dark entities and deities that's constantly walking around us, but they necessarily can't interact with us unless we agree or we allow them to enter us. They can't necessarily affect us in the physical world because they're basically in another dimension. Remember, our worlds are basically kind of like being merged and whatnot, especially if you pay attention to what CERN is doing, CERN, and that Hadron Collider, whatever they call themselves, trying to find dark matter and all this. That's because they're trying to find more ways to make portals to basically merge the dimensions. Next thing you know, they're gonna snatch up this human's consciousness and upload it to a VR, like some type of virtual world, and then now the vessel is gonna be left so that some deity can take over the body And then now we got like true demons living in human flesh. Like that's gonna be crazy if that's really what's about to happen. But hey, the future is not finite, so I mean we don't know what's gonna happen, but what you can control is what you do, what you think, and what you say. You know, so but yeah. These transhumanists, gang stalkers, whatever the case, um, they're basically doing everything that they're supposed to do because they're probably descendants of the Watchers, aka fallen angels. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do because they're no different from the audiences that used to, be at the amphitheater during the Roman, the the Greek and Roman Empire, times. So they're no different from those who used to sit in the stands and cheer and watch as righteous people were basically thrown into the center of the Colosseum and being mauled to death by lions and whatnot. No different from what was that story? I can't remember the was it Daniel? I think it was Daniel. Where I think in the Bible it talks about how someone, I think it was Daniel. Someone was put in a lion's den, and for whatever reason, he did not. The lion did not. The lion did not kill him. I forgot who it was, but yeah. Maintain a high frequency as much and as long as you possibly can, because I believe that's what truly is going to carry you through everything that's going to happen in this world. And the crazy thing about it is, like I told you, I grew up in this environment, lived in this environment, never really cared to want to try to like live in like a really nice neighborhood and all, because I like being around like my people. I still like being around my people, like this, the culture, and everything. I still like being around it. I just didn't necessarily like the hostility that comes with it there, but it goes hand in hand, I guess. Fuck it, right? But and they're always like, he's so emotional about his energy. And it's like, well, if you had any idea what you were doing with this technology, oh my goodness, it's like if you knew anything about history, you would be able to understand why Atlantis is underwater. If you knew about history, you would understand why mostly all of those Pharaoh and Egyptian, pagans and all of them are all either in hiding or wiped from the face of this earth, and now everyone is basically trying to dig up all the things that they're doing. There's a reason why they're not here no more. There's a reason why many of their descendants have no real idea about them. Or it's like there's a reason. There's a reason for that. So, but anyway, let them go ahead and keep doing what they're doing. But anyway, alright, I'm gonna go ahead and try to see if I can get some sleep. Hopefully they don't wake me up, but I don't know. Today probably wouldn't matter to them that much because I don't have to work, so it's it's not as fun for them to mess with me while I'm in my sleep if I don't have to do something important the next day. So, but I'm tired. Well, I guess preventing me from sleep when I'm tired, that's fun for them too. But anyway, keep your vibrations high. Keep them high. And if you need to, do what I'm doing. Go on YouTube. Look up, if you don't have a frequency generator app on your phone and a list of compiled frequencies that you can, tune the generator app to, just go on YouTube and just type in like healing frequency for whatever it is that you're looking for, and just vibe out, man. Just vibe out, and continue to do things that please you, and if you can, do things that please other people too, and don't even really seek something back in return. Just know that you're gonna be blessed anyway. You know. So anyway, as always, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.